pull out the thesaurus and we'll be in business.
Yeah, I might have to bring it next time.
Hi folks, John Dunn here up at Immortals Inc. I'm a freelance RPG writer and publisher of Melior Via. I'm here with Mikey, who's working the board tonight.
As always, what is up, John?
Well, tonight I thought we'd talk about a different RPG. This time, the one I had in mind is a pulp action one published by Exile Game Studios, written by a guy by the name of Jeff Combos, and it is called Hollow Earth Expedition.
The Hollow Earth. I've heard about this before. Tell me about it.
All right. So Hollow Earth, there's all kinds of crazy conspiracy theories and going back to, crazy science from ancient times where people thought you could go down into the center of the earth and who knew what was going on down there. Well, this kind of really capitalizes on that idea, taking advantage of the pulp 1920s, 1930s feel. Game came out, I think, in 2013, so been around for a little while. This one's kind of a budget version of it, and I think it's the only one that's really in print because Exile Games isn't doing a ton of new stuff. But this book's only $20. Black and white, sitting at about 350 pages, and there's a whole lot of stuff in here, starting with a game system. This one uses a system that they call the Ubiquity game engine. This was the first game that came out with it, but a couple other companies have done some stuff with it. And I think Exile even offers a license for it. So I know Triple Ace Games has some cool monster hunting games that use it, just as a for instance.
It looks like a whole bunch of tribal people attacking dinosaurs.
Yeah, so that's a lot of what's going on, because the whole Hollow Earth idea is that there's stuff that survived inside the Earth that isn't on the surface world anymore. So in this pulp setting, you can go down and explore deep beneath the Earth, and there's all kinds of world material in here that talks about where the different entrances are, but like the Bermuda Triangle's one of them, and I think there's, entrances in the Himalayas, and you might be traveling through some deep cavern complex, deep caves under the earth, and suddenly find yourself in a passage to the Hollow Earth, kind of Jules Verne type things. The interesting thing about it, though, is you might be an archaeologist or a miner or some kind of explorer, or you might have been sponsored by some rich hunting group to go down and find what's hidden beneath the depths of the earth. And what's down there in this setting is you've got these ancient lost civilizations, like you can see in the artwork here. You've got some kind of tribal peoples, and then you've got dinosaurs and all kinds of other extinct species, so saber-tooths and mythical animals that may or may not have ever even existed, woolly mammoths, and clearly stuff that's not fictional, but some other stuff that we don't know so much about, Sasquatch, Yeti type things.
The real question is, do you believe in the Hollow Earth? I mean...
Well, I got kind of a science background. I'm not a real big real-world fan of it, but I do think it makes for some pretty compelling storytelling.
Confirmed. Hollow Earth is not real.
Absolutely. But the other thing that's down there then, so you're presumed to be playing, an American explorer or maybe a European explorer, but the Nazis are down there too, because remember, this is set in the 30s, so you're going with those Indiana Jones vibes, so you've got Nazi bad guys that you can, punch squarely across the jaw or gun down with your Tommy gun.
Well, I was going to say, the font looks just like Indiana Jones type font. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
Has that revolving font to it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely riffing on those same pulp resources that the Indiana Jones movies built off of.
Exactly.
So there's all kinds of, just this whole call to adventure. That's a big part of it, where there's unexplored areas that you can go and check out and then bring things back either for your sponsor or for a museum or what have you. As you're going through that, the game system, I mentioned it's called Ubiquity. It's a very fast, very simple game system. It's intended, they do have their own set of dice, but you can use pretty much any dice you want with it. You just roll them and you count evens and odds. Evens are a success, odds are a failure. The number of dice that you're going to roll is generally less than 10, and it's going to be based on your character's attribute and skill set. There is a talent and flaw system, so sometimes you might have situational bonuses or penalties, depending upon what your character's, inherent makeup is.
So you have a 50% chance to do something good and a 50% chance to blow it.
Well, the difficulty isn't always just going to be flipping a coin, right? So sometimes you might need, say, 3 successes in order to achieve something, or 5 successes if it's really tough. And so that's going to be based on how many dice you're throwing, right?
Interesting.
Yeah. The Book also has a bunch of pre-generated, it's got character generation rules, obviously, but it's got a whole bunch of pre-generated characters so that you can just grab one of these archetypical guys and go to town and be ready to run the game right away, which is handy because, then you're just ready to pick it up and play. And there's probably about 15 of those. Big Game Hunter, Dying Money Man, Fortune Hunter, Intrepid Reporter, Lost Traveler, Occult Investigator, a whole bunch of them.
When was I saw it when I was searching the game, it said like 1926. What does that have to do with anything? Was this released around then originally, or?
No, that's just so pulp fiction type stuff came out big in the 20s and 30s, and it was called pulp because of the paper it was printed on was really cheap, so you could see the wood pulp on it. A lot of fiction from that area is high adventure. Did you ever hear of Doc Savage?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so he was a iconic pulp fiction character. There's a lot of characters along those lines. Honestly, I talk about Lovecraft all the time. His stuff was published in the pulps as well.
Interesting. I didn't even know pulp meant that.
Oh, yeah.
That's so mind-blowing. Anybody else mind-blown right now? Come on. So,
like I was saying, that's kind of just a whole style, and it tends to be action first, leading with the fists, where you just have this constant scenes of dangling from cliffs and all the archetypical things that you think of when you think like an Indiana Jones flick.
What's your favorite thing about this game in particular?
So, dinosaurs, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. You can go down and hunt dinosaurs. You can go down and catch dinosaurs. You can even go down and train dinosaurs when you're within the Hollow Earth.
Is that illegal?
Well, no, because there's no government down there, right? This is unexplored space. There's nobody telling you what you can and cannot do.
Oh, it's no holds barred down there in the Hollow Earth, baby.
Absolutely. It's got a decent selection of equipment that's all appropriate to the setting. Like I mentioned, you've got your skills and talents section. There are other books available for this. We don't have any in stock at Immortals Inc. right now, but we can get them. And there's Secrets of the Surface World, screens. There's even a book on going to the Red Planet and exploring Mars or aliens coming down from there. A lot of the material focuses on lost civilizations, which aren't necessarily human civilizations, that may also be found within the Hollow Earth. Lots of stuff you can do, lots of stuff you can check out, tons of adventure hooks. If you're into the whole Indiana Jones feel and you want to do those kinds of stories and not feel constrained about where it's taking place, even historically, this is a fantastic setting for doing that and just checking out all kinds of crazy stuff and saying, reinterpreting science and saying, this is the way it was, or at least the way it is now when we found it.
How long does it take to play one of these?
You can do a 2-3 hour game session, particularly when you've got the pre-generated characters ready to go.
Oh, okay, nice. So it's like nice and easy, like you said.
Absolutely, and the dice rolling is nice and fast and furious, so it's not going to get in your way. It's even got notes in there on how to resolve things based on your character's skill background for times when you don't even feel like you want to roll dice and you just want to keep the story flowing forward. Solid system, 350 pages, black and white, ready to go. Also, want to mention, Immortals just got an amazing shipment of dice in. If you are a dice junkie, as lots of role players are, there's a whole shelf just completely full of different assortments of dice from a variety of manufacturers. I really want to check that out too.
Immortalsinc.com. Link in the bio.
Thanks for your time, and stop in and check it out.
And if we get 1,000 views, me and John will go Hollow Earth hunting. Can't guarantee when, though.
Got my shovel ready.